we did. So if there's any blame apportioned, it's spread evenly between our naivety and their intent to steal money from us. So somewhere between the two, you know, there the blame lies. But you have to spread it around. It's not the fault of one party. It's greed meets naivety is a terrible combination, a terrible slaughter of the innocents, really.
I've spent quite a bit of time speaking with Robert Fripp about this, who took it upon himself to actually iron out his legal problems on his own, and consequently was taken away from his music for a couple of years. He was so busy with legal matters.
Yeah, well, I was managing the band for a while, and I mean, the last 3 or 4 years, I've been so... My whole world has turned upside down. I've been through divorce. I've been through a lot of illness. I lost my hearing. I had a disease in my, an infection in my inner ear, and it blew out my eardrum, and I lost my hearing, which was very frightening. Also extremely painful. We went on strike, so, you know, my career was in the fridge. So the last, and bringing up my children 6 months of the year as a single parent was kind of tough. So the last 4 years, I've really been through the mangler, but things are beginning to actually look good for me now. So, my Christ, I don't want to blow it a second time. I'm too old to blow it.
Well, right now, what is the most positive, or what is in the offing that gives you reason to be most optimistic at this time?
Well, career-wise, we do... I'm going to be a little immodest here. I think we have stored up the best material ever. And I don't know whether it's the continual hammer blows of what we've been through in the last 4 years. I mean, certainly me personally, I've really been to hell and back emotionally. I mean, but maybe the hammer blows of that situation has forged, I think, some of the best songs, if not the best songs ever. And it's a real tease that we haven't got to record them yet. You know, we haven't had the money to be able to record them yet. But that's positive because we're going to be recording them soon, and I know people are going to like these songs. I mean, not everyone. If you like XTC, you're going to like them. But we may win a few more converts. I don't know. Hopefully.
Quality-wise, I mean, what would you compare it to among your works thus far?
Few. That's a tricky one because I don't like all of our past work. I can't listen to the early stuff. That's baby photos with your ass showing. I'm not like that anymore, Mother.
What do you consider the end of your early period? When does your maturity start to kick in? Just out of
I think we started to get half decent around about Black Sea English Settlement. And actually coming off the road, I think our writing took more of a leap then. It's just unfortunate that we had to do our songwriting practice in public, which probably most bands do, but it's just your every utterance is looked at, and it's when we first started, we weren't all that good at writing songs. I mean, the lyrics never meant anything more than the sum total of that kind of futuristic shotgun blast in the face of words that were just good buzzwords. They were good end of 20th century, like I said, it's kind of blasting you with pellets of individual words in the face. They never really meant much in succession, but they were words like wire or radio or electric, or do you see what I mean? They were individual pellets in a shotgun cartridge, this kind of futuristic pop thing. They weren't actually about anything else other than that blast. And then, you know, you do that for a bit, and then you think, this is not rewarding. I want to go deeper. And you go deeper into yourself. You go through the first layer, which is that superficial desire to sort of smash the door in and shoot everyone in the face with your music. You go through that, and then you get down to, you start, you know, you take your arm and you shove it down your throat, and you rummage around in your guts, and you start pulling stuff out. And the deeper you go with that stuff, the more painful it is to do it, but the more interesting and the better songs it makes, I think.
So, getting back to what I was asking, what if you could make a comparison between what you've saved up, is there a watermark or a benchmark somewhere that sort of is equal to this?
Well, because it was over such a long space of time, nearly 4 years, it's kind of gone through two distinct styles. I wanted desperately to make an orchestral sounding record, because I was very much getting towards that at the end of Nonsuch. Things like Rook and Wrapped in Grey and Bungalow, they all have this sort of orchestral feel to them. And that was an area I really wanted to get into. And so all the bunch of stuff that was written after Nonsuch and about halfway through that time passage had a more orchestral or acoustic feel. And then I think I started to get fed up with that and was missing electric guitars. And so the other half of the material is this very noisy, somewhat strident electric guitar-based stuff. So it really has a split personality. I think we're talking about two albums, but whether they come out simultaneously or one after the other, I don't know.
Well, I guess in that sense, I mean, Nonsuch was a bit schizophrenic itself. I mean, you had
it was, yeah,
style of Peter Pumpkinhead and Rook on the same album.
Exactly, yeah. They rubbed a bit. You know, it was a bit. Strangely melancholy record. I don't know. I've been thinking about this lately. An oddly melancholy kind of thing. I don't know whether that was obvious at the time when we were making it, but now I can see that it's a rather melancholy sort of record. But there is this schizophrenic pile of stuff, this schizophrenic pile of things to put out. But I think it might be nice to corral them into two different records. So I suppose one of them would be nearer, if you can imagine the orchestral side of Nonsuch with maybe the pastoral feel of Skylarking. Most of it is in that camp. Then there's another bunch that's really noisy, which is towards more kind of a Black Sea kind of feel, I suppose.
Okay, well that makes sense. And is XTC still you, Colin, and Dave? Just the three?
Yeah.
What do you intend to do about drumming chores?
Well, we get people. It's usually about one a week. Somebody will send a cassette in saying, "Have me drum on your record." So there's no shortage of people applying, but it's kind of usually on a whim. You know, it was always fancied working with Dave Mattox, or didn't you used to like the way the Glitter Band sounded, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of it's usually worked on a kind of a whim thing for drummers, and so I've no reason to suspect that it won't stop working on that basis. So God knows who we could pick. You know, I like a lot of the drumming on Carpenter's records, but I don't think Karen's going to be able to oblige.
So that one's still up in the air then, huh?
Yeah, that one's up in the air, unless I can get the Ouija board out and contact her. You know, lure her with a cake.
Okay, I guess we have to. We're compelled to talk about fossil fuel, and I guess the name itself is sort of your joke.
Yeah, it's you know, heat, light, power, and warmth out of the old shit. The old dead stuff, you know, the stuff from way back then, from another era. I was trying to think of a sleeve, actually. The title came more out of the sleeve idea than anything else. The sleeve in England is a three-dimensional model of an ammonite. Do you know what an ammonite is?
Refresh my memory.
Okay. It's a spiral fossil, sort of ribbed spiral snail-like fossil. Do you know the kind of thing?
Yeah.
And I wanted one of those on the sleeve, in, you know, an actual 3D model of it. It's a very tactile sleeve. And I wanted it in black as a sort of the metaphor for the long-dead vinyl single. And then I was thinking, you know, I had this imagery for the vinyl single long before the title came, and the title just popped in my head because there's the idea of getting this sort of new energy out of old dead stuff was fossil fuel. You know, it couldn't be any other title.
And so it was a completely hands-on project for you, or did...
Oh yeah, I always do the sleeves. After Statue of Liberty, I was so appalled at the Statue of